Hello everyone and welcome to another educational but also fun video. Since you enjoyed the previous one so much, I decided to throw in another one. This one is checkmating with a bishop and knight. A lot of you guys have suggested it, and it also works nicely while we're waiting for the Tournament of Legends that is starting very soon. So basically what's happening here is that white has a bishop and a knight and black has only a king, and white needs to deliver checkmate, and there are a few methods you can use to achieve this. I decided to only show the one that I think is the simplest one, and then if you guys think it's necessary, then we can maybe do the other one as well. But basically what you want to do here, and let me just show you something. It's this is just from Wikipedia. There you can see all of the possible things that can happen. So in short, there's the diagram A, which is what will usually happen. So this is the checkmate that will happen most often. The black king in the corner, the same corner of the bishop that you have. Then you have diagram B. It's an alternate checkmate that can happen. Then you have diagram C, an alternate checkmate that cannot be forced, which we will show during this video. Then you have an alternate checkmate that cannot be forced, the one that's D, also in the middle of the board, but where the bishop delivers checkmate. Then you have an alternate checkmate that can be forced, diagram E. There you have the checkmate in the wrong corner that cannot be forced. So basically you always want to force the king into the corner of your own bishop. But even though it's possible to deliver checkmate in the other corner, it's only possible if your opponent plays really bad. So here we are only going to consider moves that are good for both sides. And from the worst possible position, you can do the checkmating sequence in 33 moves, which is very important as you have to do it before the 50 move rule. If you are not successful in delivering checkmate within 50 moves, your opponent can claim the 50 move rule and the game will be proclaimed a draw. So this is a standard position that we'll be using to show what's happening here. So basically, there are three phases of how you want to deliver checkmate. First is you want to drive the king to the edge of the board, because of course black knows how to deliver checkmate, or we're presuming that black knows, and he will try to remain in the center of the board. As long as he's in the center, he cannot get checkmated. So that's what he's gonna do. So the first part is getting the king somewhere to the edge of the board. It doesn't really matter where. Then it's forcing the king into the right corner, or basically forcing the king from the wrong corner into the right corner. Here we have a light square bishop, and we can only checkmate the black king in one of these corners. We cannot do it, or maybe let's do it with the green color. So we cannot do it on the red corners, we can only do it on the green corners. And of course, phase 3 is delivering the actual checkmate. So here, the way we want to do it is we want to get some squares for our king. So the black king is currently preventing us from reaching any of these squares, and we want to push him back. So here, let's say the bishop and knight and the king are boxing the black king as well, and he needs to move back. So he's gonna move back, trying to remain in the center of the board. And okay, we want some squares now, so we bring our king into the as close to the black king as possible. He will again make a move. He cannot use these squares, so he will try to remain in the center of the board, and we just play king e3. And now notice that none of the central squares are possible anymore. Now he has to play something else. So let's say he plays king to f5, and now we bring the knight into the game. Knight to d3. We take away the e5 square from the black king, and again black to move, he has to play something. And okay, he's gonna play king g5, and now comes the move that you should remember, bishop to e4. So this is the setup that we want to get, or again, let's make it green. So with this king, bishop, and knight setup, we are creating well, maybe a red square. We are creating a wall here, and it's quite a big wall, and the black king will not be able to cross this wall. And he will only be able to use some of the other squares, which is good for us, as we know that he's probably gonna try and hide into the dark square corner. So we're gonna he's gonna try and remain as close as possible to the center, and we go king d4. We bring our king closer to his king. So king e6, and now king to c5. Notice that after we achieve this setup, we will mostly be playing with our king. So king to e7. Now again, there's a wall here. You should never forget this wall. It's always here, and now we are boxing in the king even further with our own king. So king e7, and now king to d5, taking away even more squares. King f6, we're gonna go play king d6. Again, we take the opposition. The king has to move. He has to move somewhere, doesn't really matter where. And king to e5 now. And now, and sorry about that, yeah, only heard it now. And now we've reached the e5 square, and again, we are boxing the black king in. So notice that if the black king starts marching towards the light square corner, that's good for us. We want him there because that's the only corner, aside from this one, of course, where we can checkmate him. So he's probably going to go to the other corner. So he's going to go king g7, we're going to follow him, king e6. He's going to go king to g8, and now he doesn't have to go here. He can go here, he can go here, he can go here. But as soon as he touches the corner, we are bringing in the knight. So knight comes to e5. And now the knight will be used so we can drive the king away from the h8 square. The knight from f7 and the g6 can force the king back. As we're controlling this diagonal with the bishop, knight to f7 will be what drives the king back from the corner. So king f8, and we're going to go king to f6. He's going to repeat king g8, and now we go knight to f7. And now the knight covers the h8 square, the bishop covers the h7 square. So he needs to go back. And now that we have the king all the way backed into the corner, now we will try to get him all the way to the light square corner so we can deliver checkmate. So he goes king f8, and now we go bishop to h7. We just take away the g8 square and force the king to go further left. So king e8, and now we can go knight to e5. We need to now go knight e5 to d7 to c5. So knight e5, now the knight also covers the d7 square, so the king cannot escape the back rank. And of course he's going to try to go back. King f8, but we're just going to go knight to d7 check. Now he's going to go back, and now king to e6. Now again, the king is boxing the black king in, so he's going to try... well, he doesn't have anything to try. He only has one move, king to d8, and now we're gonna go king to d6. He's gonna, of course, try to go back to the wrong corner, and bishop to g6 check. Now we are covering both of these squares, and he needs to go back to the center. So king d8, and now we shift the knight to c5. So like we said, from f7 to e5 to d7 to c5. He only has one move, king to c8, and now we're gonna go bishop to e4. We want to get our bishop to c6, so when the king starts running back to the wrong corner, we're going to deliver this bishop to d7 check, and this will force the king further to the left. And here is what happens. So he's going to go king to d8. We're going to go bishop to c6. He's going to go king to c8, hoping to repeat this, but now we trick him. Now we play bishop to d7 check, and now he can no longer go here because we get one of those checkmates that actually cannot be forced. If he goes here, then it's just knight to e6 checkmate, and of course black will never do this, but if he does, just so you know. So now we get to force him even further back to the left. So king to b8. And now comes king to c6. And now with the bishop covering this and the knight covering this, the black king is not escaping, well, his tomb, so to say. So he's going to go king to a7, you're going to go king to c7. He's going to go king to a8, and now once you touch the b6 square, now it's just over. He has two more moves. He's going to go king to b8, and now you deliver knight a6 check, and finally, after the only move possible, king to a8, you're going to deliver bishop to c6 checkmate. So that's basically it. That's how you do it. I decided not to show the other method as I was trying to make it as simple as possible, and this method does seem a little bit simpler than the other one, where you have to make triangles with your pieces. And here you basically just put your pieces in the middle of the board, and you've already created a nice wall here after this bishop to e4 move, like we mentioned. And now with the understanding that we've created a wall here, everything else seems to be pretty reasonable. If the king goes to this corner, you know how to drive him back. You will bring the knight, let's say, to e5, then to f7. And if he goes to either of the two light square corners, this is good for us because in those corners we can deliver checkmate. So yeah, that's basically it. Bishop to c6 is checkmate, and although you can checkmate your opponent in different ways if he plays poorly, if he plays the best possible moves, of course he will try to remain in the center for as long as possible, and then he will try to go to the wrong corner, then you have to force him to the right corner, and then you have to deliver checkmate there. As he will of course be hoping that you will either blunder something, or maybe he can maybe he can create a double attack against your knight and bishop with the king, or maybe he can create some sort of a stalemate. He will try a lot of things, and of course the stronger your opponent is, the more you will have to struggle. But if you know this basic principle, you should be okay. Now, you're not gonna get this position very often in life. I mean, I haven't played all that much chess, but I have played a decent amount of over-the-board chess, and I only got this position once in classical chess over the board. I had the white pieces. I was playing against a candidate master, and I got this position, king and bishop and knight against the king, and I was able to find the correct sequence, even though I didn't know the exact continuations. I knew that I need to drive the king to the right corner of my bishop, and then I was able to find the moves. But it's because it was a classical game, and I had, I don't know, maybe even half an hour on the clock, so it wasn't really a stressful situation. But it doesn't help to know, like, if you have very little time on the clock, that it is possible to do it. I don't know who did it. Someone posted on Twitter that they actually got to this position either in bullet or a blitz game with 1 minute on the clock, and that they were able to do it with 1 minute on the clock. So if you know it, you will definitely make use of it. But yeah, that's the video. I do hope you enjoyed it, and that it will help you at least once or twice in your life. Or if not, you can just simply impress your friends at the bar and the library. I would like to thank Suleiman Albalvi, Ivan Mitruchev, Parmot Sangavar, Edward Smith, and Avinash Dinesh Shilaya for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of the Paul Morphy saga, checking up on your wonderful suggestions, and whatever else happens in the chess world. And if you enjoy more educational and fun videos like these, do mention something so I know to create more. Thank you all, and I will see you soon.